Radio, and of course Vern's on deck show getting you set as the Royals are going to take on the Tigers. A pretty big weekend series for a division rival who's also playing pretty well. So we want to keep talking draft, though. We got a lot to get into. This will be fun. Next 45 minutes to an hour. We got all three of us just kind of hanging out in one of our other studios on Facebook, Twitch. You can still text in, believe it or not. We got the text line pulled up. I do. 913-586-7610. So we'll continue to kind of shoot the shit. See, I can curse now.
Oh my God, you said good. You said a bad word.
Does it feel good?
I told you, I'm trying to be better because my kids have started to cuss more, and I can't just let them do that all the time. I have to be somewhat in moderation.
That happened with my nephew. I had that with my nephew recently. I think I can get away with talking about it on here a little bit. I don't know. I'll get in trouble again. But
what? Did you talk about your family one time they didn't like it?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But
what
no,
did you say?
The same concept. What had to do when we were talking about the holidays and birthday and having it on a holiday. That whole thing. That was not. I got in trouble for that one. But the cursing thing. One of my nephews at school was getting getting teased or whatever and didn't like that and dropped one.
Hard F?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know why I'm saying it like that. I can literally say fuck right now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it's just on the live stream.
He said, shut the fuck up. It's like, what?
All right. Well, you know.
All right.
Anyway, what about last night? We'll get to the Chiefs, obviously. Xavier Worthy. But the landing, we saw a lot of you guys out there. That was a ton of fun. Drew, you hadn't been in the landing before. I'm not even serious. We're all ordering. I'm like, I'll get a Coors Light. Drew goes, I'll take 2 Angry Orchards or whatever. Like, you weren't messing around.
I wasn't messing around. Well, I figured that I thought going into the night we'd be there for the entire first round. That was my thought process. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have these 2 and it's gonna last the entire night. Did not go that way, and I finished them well before anyways. But it was not because I knew that the Bengals were gonna take a pick where I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, look, you shouldn't be like.
Was it as obvious on my face when I was talking to Bink that I didn't care for the pick? Because I turned and looked at you guys, and you were looking at me. And there was a moment where I don't know if you were like, yeah, he does not like it or not.
People are giving you a hard time on the chat. I know, by the way, we recognize there's some frame issues. I get it.
Are we glitchy?
It's better now, some people were saying, but people are giving you a hard time for ordering the Angry Orchards. Nothing, that's fine.
He doesn't drink beer. He's a cider guy.
But people definitely, T. Nolte, I think, on Twitch at least, commenting on that. But no, you said, Cody, what happened last? You were off we thought you left for a while last night.
I was all over the place. Yeah. I found a lot of different people.
You met somebody from elementary school or something?
So a kid named Keith came from, we went to Gracemore together. We were friends at Gracemore Elementary in Kansas City together. But he had admitted to something, which I'm assuming he's admitted to at some other point, but I hadn't seen him since elementary school, that I was so pissed at him for as a kid. I went over to his house once in elementary school, probably like 4th grade. He invites me over to his house on a weekend. I stay the night. We spend the day playing Aladdin on Super Nintendo. A perfect kid weekend. Yeah. But when I was leaving, his parents seemed very standoffish to me. They were kind of like this, like they were pretty much calling me like a piece of shit. And I was like, what the hell? I didn't do anything. I had no idea what was going on. I found out last night, 30 years later, what had happened was he had stolen a pair of sunglasses from some shop at Worlds of Fun, and when he got caught with it, he said it was Cody. He's a rotten apple. That kid sucks. Damn. So his parents judged me all these years.
They thought you were a
thief for a crime I didn't commit.
That's messed up.
I was innocent.
Did he at least buy you a beer last night?
All these years.
After 30 years, he owed you a beer.
He actually tried to buy me a Jaeger bomb, and I had been missing, and he made Carrington.
That was the funny thing last night. So Drew was there at the time. Cody, you weren't right there when it happened, but we told you about it. So one of our listeners, the same guy, I think, right? Went over to Carrington and said, "Hey, C-Dot, you're my favorite host at the station," and he was holding the Jaeger bomb. And Carrington said no initially, but once he said that, I was like, "You got to take the Jaeger bomb."
Yeah.
And Carrington, I don't like Jaeger bombs either. Like I don't like that black licorice taste. I don't know if you guys do. It's not my favorite. No. And so Carrington took the Jaeger bomb, but he let it sit in his mouth for 10 seconds. It's like the worst possible thing you could do.
That's a really bad decision.
Just let it sit for 10 seconds in his mouth, and then he looked miserable after the Jaeger bomb shot or bomb. But
I think that was meant for me. I couldn't believe it, dude. I'm like thinking about a lifetime of I couldn't understand, and we barely hung out after that. Obviously, he moved away, is what he said. Like he went to a different school starting in 5th grade. But it was when I left that house, I'm like, what the fuck happened here? Now, I will say this. I didn't remember him coming to our house because, you know, like you're a little kid, you don't remember all that.
Right.
And because my family liked to like screw around and stuff, he said in like 4th grade he came to my house and like we made him like play on a Ouija board and stuff. And I was like, that's my bad. Your parents probably thought we were weird just for stuff like that because we're always like goofing around. I was like, but I couldn't, I mean, years, dude. I remembered specifically leaving that house and it seemed so hostile. And it was just like because they thought I was a bad kid. I didn't even do anything.
Yeah. Did you take a photo with anybody last night?
I took a photo with I don't remember that woman's name.
Susie?
Susie?
She was very nice.
I took a photo with her.
Anybody else?
No, maybe. I don't remember.
Huh.
Wait, did I take a photo with someone else? Someone better
To
explain.
my knowledge, I don't.
Wait, what
Do you
happened?
remember? Somebody wanted to take a photo with you last night.
Oh, I've heard the
I'll
story.
let Drew. Well, you were there when
Oh,
it
I took
happened.
a photo with a listener.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Him?
So
Yeah.
so that
Oh, yeah.
So
My bad,
two
my
things
bad.
happened. Two things happened.
Yeah.
Initially,
I forgot it was the same guy.
Yeah, earlier in the night, we're over at the table at the landing. Drew's there. I think maybe Dusty was still there and a few other people.
Yeah.
And listener came up and was like, "Hey, big fan of the show." And he looks at Drew. And what did he say?
He said, "Man, at first you were really messing with Brandy, but you've been killing it lately with the outro music."
He's like, "Good job fading it in."
Yeah, thanks.
And Drew was like, "Okay, thank you for
Appreciate
that
it.
for that cut." Then 2 hours later, same guy comes by the table, Cody.
I had missed him way earlier, apparently.
He comes back. He comes over and he says, "Hey, where's?" He says to me, "Say, hey, where's Cody?" I go, "Oh, he's over there." He goes, "Cody's like, I don't want a picture with you."
Wow, that's what he said?
Yeah, the guy was an ass. But that's all right, you know.
Hey, he's a big fan of the show. He said he listens every day.
That's-
I don't know why he
for
didn't
him
want
to
to take
say
a
that to
photo.
you,
of
there-
it.
there's a
That's
level
fine.
of.
It's not that I don't need you to take a photo with me. It's like you're kind of a dick to go up to
No,
somebody.
100%.
Yeah,
There's
be
a
like, by
level
the
of
way,
disrespect.
hey, where's your whatever? Yeah, I don't want a photo with you. It's like, okay, that's cool, man. That's cool. So yeah, that was
I'll
Drew.
take the
Drew
spin
was there
of-
for that one.
Maybe that was the alcohol, or he was like, I
Maybe
don't
he was
want
a
to
little
take it.
drunk.
He was a little too honest.
And I
But
was like, that's fine, man. If you don't want to take
I
a
will
photo,
say, for him to
go
openly
out of your
say-
way to make sure I know. Thank you for being an asshole. Like, yeah.
He seemed okay when I talked to
Yeah.
him.
Oh,
He
yeah,
also
that's 'cause he
wanted
liked
to
you.
take a
I
photo
was
with
gonna
me,
say, that's 'cause-
so
that's 'cause he likes you
slightly
the
different.
best.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you this much:
that's what it
there were
is.
probably, and then I know we'll talk some of the draft stuff, but like there were probably 15 different people who commented on the songs we do for this show,
No, I'm sure.
and I would guess that it was 5 people who were like, "Love them, hope you do songs forever." 5 who were like, "Look, man, you could do them, but you know," and then the other 5 that were like, "Stop it, just stop doing it," which is maybe the perfect ratio, dream ratio for the songs. You hate them, you love them, or you're just like, God, I guess I won't turn this station off.
By the
which
way,
is
I was sent
somewhere in the middle.
a beat last night by someone we both know that mixed together a couple songs
Okay,
into
so-
a song for you to rap. And my response to him was, I don't know if I can handle a new song every week. We might have to wait.
I told him I wanted a mix
Yeah, and I have it.
of Will Smith
Yep.
and Nelly for
Uh-huh.
Nelson Velasquez. He goes by Nelly.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
thought maybe I could help both
It's
of
from
them
our
by
buddy-
doing a song together. DJ Hype.
This is. That's the beat. Obviously, it starts.
I gotta hear it a little bit. This is pretty good.
Oh.
Can you-
yeah, that's how you started out.
Oh man, listen to this. Yeah, send it to me. There's a good shot that a new song's getting made with that.
All right, so that's what potentially bonus,
This is the first time
bonus
ever I think
content for
people are
people.
getting a.
I love that.
This is the first time ever I feel like people are getting like a sneak preview for like a future song that could take place. That's a
Yeah.
whole nother thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
look, there's some freedom about just being on social media that we can't have on the radio. You know, there's a little bit of freedom that we can. And on the radio, I can't just hold my phone up to the microphone because it may sound like shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it just
yeah.
might.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
But the
Now.
draft itself, like Xavier, we talked about on the air earlier about an hour ago. Like the Xavier Worthy pick. Normally, I'm like, don't just go get the fast, speedy guy. Like, no, that's gonna suck.
But that's what they got. So
But it's not. But see, I disagree. I don't think that's just what they got. This isn't D'Anthony Thomas. Like, okay, he's really short and he's athletic. This is the fastest guy ever.
Yeah.
In the combine, and he's 5'11". He needs to get up to like 180. I weigh 180 now. He needs to get up to my weight. Okay, at 5'11".
You're quite a bit taller than him,
Yeah,
too,
him and I
though.
want the same muscle mass once he does that. And then
equally shredded.
yeah, and then his route running ability is actually legit, and he can track the ball, as Drew was talking about earlier on our show. Like, somebody that has a skill set that's not just the gadget guy. I don't view him as a gadget guy, and that's why it's exciting. To me, he's the guy that hopefully takes Hollywood Brown's place in a year, and this year you get two of them. You get Hollywood Brown, Worthy, and Rashee Rice all together. That's exciting.
Look, it's scary because at wide receiver you can always get it wrong, but like, you know, I don't give a shit. I wanted a wide receiver because it's fun. For one, like, just be honest, it's fun. Yeah. But also, they've had Patrick Mahomes here for years and have spent a single top 50 pick on offense for him. Not just weapons, on offense, period. And it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And look, if they could go back, I imagine they would probably just take like T. Higgins or something, Drew, instead of taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But because of where they were at that time, it's like they took Clyde, they were trying to give him a weapon, and then they like take a bunch of like loose shots in the second round at wide receiver. Cool. If they get this right, for the next 3 years at least, they'll have Rashee Rice on a rookie contract, presuming his legal trouble doesn't get too out of hand.
Do you think that's, by the way, real quick, do you think that had any play in them trading up? We always knew they liked Worthy well before the Rashee Rice wreck that he caused in Dallas. Like, the reports were they love this kid, and then at the combine, he had the fastest time, and like, oh, you're not going to be able to get him because, okay, he's going to go way higher now. Yeah. Do you think that they trade up? Did that play any role? I don't think I think they would have traded up even if Rice didn't have a potential 4-6 game suspension.
I agree.
Coming.
I think it probably more goes back to the thing I had said to you earlier this week, where I just think the NFL looks at guys like Rashee Rice and T. Higgins as like, they're nice receivers and kind of like running backs. And I hope they're here for 5 years and then they can walk and go get some big ass check somewhere else. And the only guys you pay in the NFL now, if wide receivers are going to keep being this good, is the 1,500 yard guys. And look, the Chiefs didn't even pay that guy because at the time the wide receiver number hadn't boomed. I think it's maybe more about that. But also, Travis Kelce's 2 years closer to retiring, right? Than they were a couple of years ago. You have to start taking weapons eventually to replace the guys, don't you?
I feel like that's the route that a lot of teams are going, and even like for example, the Bengals with T. Higgins, they're not going to pay T. Higgins because they already have to pay Jamar Chase, who is in that category of the 1,500 yard guys. And there's not very many of those anyways in the league. And I've thought about going as far to say the wide receiver position is almost as recyclable as the running back position, but it's still
not there yet, but it's like getting there.
It's not there yet, but you can get guys
it's just the talent
in the second and third round
now.
who are good enough to fill a need and be with how good the quarterback play is. I guess that might be the only caveat is if you have Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and that's it. He can make a second and third round guy get 900 yards consistently, where you can't trust some other guy to do that as well, where maybe you overpay for somebody.
I just think the talent pool is insane now. And some of it is, we talk more and more NFL style offenses in college. Like all of that is helping probably wide receivers, the quicker transition to the NFL and the overall skill set that exists. And then with that pick too, you're thinking about what the wide receiver room is for the Chiefs. You mentioned kind of Cody just long term. But for this particular season, now any bit of worry that was out there about, hey, Tony, and trying to make sure he was still...
Oh, thank God. I didn't want to hear that.
I think that alleviates that. I have no problem. I've said it that he is at camp. To me, there's no downside. You have 10 wide receivers at training camp anyway. So, like, okay, you can have...
Instead of Cornell Powell, it's Kadarius Toney.
Fine.
They just don't treat him that way. My problem is, like, they baby him like, oh, he's our precious little talented baby.
But now, like...
You're like, it's not. Doesn't matter.
But look at the reps. I mean, if we think it's going to be Rice, maybe he misses some games, and so this changes it, but Rice, Brown, Worthy, and then there's divvy out 10 snaps for 8 snaps for Sky Moore, and 3 snaps for Kadarius Toney. Watson gets 5. Like, that's fine. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. Like, Xavier Worthy's not going to, week 1 of the season is not going to get 50% of the snaps. I mean, we all know that's not happening.
No, he can get there by week 8 or 9 if he's really good.
I'm in the camp of get rid of Kadarius Toney as soon as you can, because you're not going to have that temptation where it's going to be week 11. Well, we're trying to find a way to work him in. We really love and this is the same thing Andy's always said. We love the player. We just need to find a way to get him on the field. There's so much they can reinvent. My thought process is they can reinvent the wide receiver room where you don't have to worry about Kadarius Toney ever again, and you can pay a guy who wants to be there, is committed to be there, and is consistent enough where they buy into playing with Patrick Mahomes, and they don't screw around.
Look, between Worthy and maybe to a much lesser extent, the rugby kid, Luis Rees-Zammit, they're covering the special teams end thing too.
Yeah.
Because that was always, I think that was like a crutch. That was a crutch with Tony. It was a crutch with Sky Moore. I think in the early going, that was why they always left McCole Moore, was like they need people who can do that. And now because kick returns might actually matter again in the NFL, they kind of had to go that route. I mean, it does make sense to me. I don't want to ever get to the point, like, look, I'll be honest. I don't want to ever just go full home where we're like, well, Brett Veach gets 100% of my confidence all the time. He's fucked things up just like anyone else. Plenty of times, right? He's messed up picks. No one bats 1,000. Right. So, like, it doesn't mean Worthy is a smash hit, but, like, I get why wide receiver, and especially a guy who has speed. We talked about that in the first hour of the regular show before we just did the stream where, like, they were slow on wide receiver for 2 consecutive years. It was like, ugh. I was thinking watching Juju Smith-Schuster run a 5.4 40. And look, it's not, he did a fine job. They won a couple of Super Bowls. They're a good team. But like they needed speed back into the offense. Worthy gives them that.
It's the vertical threat. I mean, yes, speed goes hand in hand, but more than anything, like last year, there were a few MVS got open deep, right? Like they had vertical opportunities.
McCole got open deep.
McCole got, MVS couldn't catch a damn ball. McCole Hardman couldn't track the ball. I mean, so they had like the scheme, if you will. Nobody's concerned about that, right? Like get the right playmakers involved, and hopefully Worthy is that. There's still some risk with Worthy because of the size, right? And I don't think he's John Ross just because John Ross literally got hurt running the damn 40,
and he sucked at everything besides running fast. Right, that was his problem.
And he was taking one pick before Mahomes.
Worthy's just a better route runner. Yeah, that didn't help. But Worthy's a better route runner. I just think for them, Brett Veach now, while you're right, he doesn't hit 100%. No GM does. He has mastered the back end of the draft, though, because they are consistently picking 28 to 32, and he has mastered the ability to kind of know where the board is trending. We always joke about the cliches of like, let the board speak to you and all this crap. But when you think about the run on the position right after, he trades up for Worthy, and then in the next 4 picks, 2 wide receivers go. No, we don't know. We'll never know the for sure answer. Would Xavier Worthy have gone to the Niners? Would the Panthers have traded up for Worthy? I have no idea.
Before wide receivers started going.
But does Pearsall go to the Niners instead? I don't know. I think there's a chance Kyle Shanahan's taking Xavier Worthy if he's there. Yeah. And so the timing was right. You didn't overtrade up. You didn't go from 32 to 22 to go reach maybe for Xavier Worthy. You traded up a modest 4 spots. You gave up a 3rd-round pick. You have an extra 3rd-round pick next year because of the Snead trade. And you went and got a clear need. I wouldn't mind them between tonight and tomorrow drafting another wide receiver. Though.
No, because it helps you reinvent the room. And also, what they've already done, regardless if they draft another one or not, is there's enough weaponry that I think you can rely on between Rasheed and Hollywood and Xavier Worthy, if he can develop into that guy that you want as the number 3, where teams are going to have to choose more than ever. Are you going to double Travis Kelce? And if you do, we've got the guys now who are reliable threats to completely open up the offense.
You can't stay within 5 yards of line of scrimmage all the time anymore. Yeah. No, I will ask can I ask one thing about Andy Reid? And clearly rubbed off on Brett Veach, who's worked for Andy Reid for what, like 20 years now?
Andy Reid was at the landing last night. I don't know if you guys saw.
He
was hanging out with us.
Andy Reid was there.
By the way, that fake Andy Reid is perfect. He's got the waddle down a little. He's got a little waddle down. He's got all the mannerisms.
Does he fluctuate his weight depending on where Andy's at?
I think he keeps an eye on it. The fake Andy Reid was great. There's a couple fake Andy Reids out there. Last night is the real one. That guy has I'm serious, the limp and everything. You got to have a little limp, a little waddle.
So
the mustache, the glass, he looks just like him.
The thing I wanted to ask about wide receivers, why the hell do they hate tall wide receivers? What's your problem?
Don't do it
against guys like there are good wide receivers in the league.
Is what it is. You want a DK
who are
Metcalf.
6'2". There are good wide receivers who are 6'2".
You can get Johnny Wilson, 6'7".
No, he's too tall. I told you. There's a height
He's
limit.
actually 6'6", not 6'7". And we looked it up.
Too tall.
Plexico Burress, no problem. The Carmichael, the guy from the 80s, Hall of Famer,
Calvin Johnson.
6'5".
Dude, this goes back to an argument you make a lot, which makes sense, which is, please do not give me the 2 examples in NFL history in which a guy who is 6'6" actually worked.
6'5"
and instead
above.
Give me all the other times that's too damn tall to be wide receiver.
6'5" and above, there's...
I just feel like
Calvin
6'2" and a half.
6'5" and above, there's like 7 examples I can give you.
Well, he's not 6'5". He's 6'6" and a half.
I wouldn't mind another wide receiver later in the draft. Not necessarily tonight. Like tonight, they have one pick. I think if the tackles slide a little bit, maybe. But also, we're pretty close to reaching the point where, all right, just punt on the damn tackle again. And next year, I'm going to be bitching about the need to draft one again in the first round because they're going to run back the Donovan Smith thing and Wanya Morris, and then we'll just
you're going to have to keep
if they're going to draft one, they have to do it in round 2, I think. Otherwise, they might as well not.
I don't even think they can
No,
wait.
no, no.
They might as well not
in
take.
round 4, then it's just Wanye versus round 4 guy. Fight.
Okay,
Or you just
so-
go veteran? What's the point of taking one in round 4 then?
Say,
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. No. I mean, I think if they're going to take one, they almost have to trade up again in round 2 because they have the last pick in round 2. I don't know if you're like the BYU kid is gone. The one
He'll
that
be
people
gone.
have mocked is Roger, whatever the hell is
Roger Rosegarden from
Yeah.
Washington, and then Blake Fisher from Notre Dame.
The
Are
kid
the two
from
tackles
Washington got destroyed by Michigan in the national title game, so that was the
Blake. If they sit at 64 and they take a tackle, though, is that? I think that counts as competition. But do you still bring Donovan Smith back just in case?
No. If I take one at 64, one of you two's winning the job. Why
Okay.
am I spending veteran free agent money? Like, I got to spend that somewhere else. I need, like, I don't know, 5th corner just to compete with people.
I just think they're going to run back Donovan Smith.
Well, at that point, see, for that reason, I would bring back Donovan Smith and just have him and Wanye compete, and then you use the 2nd round pick for somebody that's more useful, whether it be a guard, whether it be another wide receiver, whether it be corner. Get more value for the pick and just punt on offensive linemen until next year. You can pick a guy in the 1st round next year because you'll hopefully have the wide receiver room in a better spot.
Ideally. I mean, that would be the
Or it's
key
not as
to
much
that.
of a need, I guess, or pressing need.
Yeah.
Unless,
Drew,
of course, Travis Kelce retires.
Drew, did it hurt to be booed last night?
No, I thought
What
it was
the
awesome.
fuck? You're wearing Cincinnati gear
Yes,
again.
Okay, so they drafted
Every day. Oh, this whole week. This whole
Wait,
week.
are you in Chiefs gear? What are you wearing?
Just today.
It has not
Just
been a
today,
whole
okay.
week. Okay.
They made a good pick. All right, I can wear my Chiefs. It's
Listen,
one
okay.
day
Mims
this
kind of
week.
sucked as a pick, I'll be honest.
All right, let me get 2 minutes on why Amarius Mims is a good pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, so at first I thought the pick was a little bit shaky because they already have the offensive line set for this year, at least right now. Having looked back in recent history for the right tackle position or just offensive line in general for the Bengals, they've had injury problems where Amarius Mims can play right away. And maybe if he takes over, say Trent Brown gets hurt, who hasn't played a whole season in 3 years. Say he gets hurt in week 4, Amarius Mims comes in and he's amazing. He's won the job from that point on. So I think that pick from the standpoint of long-term protection for Joe Burrow works. I thought that they should have taken defensive tackle Johnny Newton because that was a more pressing need, I think, because the defense sucked last year.
Well, you know I liked Johnny.
He's still available. The thing that's crazy is he's still available, and we talked right before the show ended on who we think is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
Maybe Johnny Newton's in that conversation, or maybe if you're a team, maybe the Bengals like, you know what, we want that guy so bad we're going to trade up, or somebody trades up because his value is really good for what he brings as a potential
But also,
elite
we
pass
think
rusher.
that, and every year, I don't know if it's Johnny Newton.
The
but
NFL
some
teams
dude, Cooper
don't buy in.
DeJean or Johnny, or Kool-Aid McKinnon. One of these guys is going to go like 52.
Yeah.
And we're just like, I don't know, like one of the 5 or 6 names we've mentioned is going to go like 61 because we're never right, because NFL teams value these guys differently. I'd have been more scared of Brian Thomas Jr. went a little bit later, probably because of the
He ended up
injury
going to
stuff.
Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
That's where he went. Like, I'm looking at how the draft went in the 1st round, and obviously the Chiefs pick, there's a lot of reasons to be excited about it. But I'm also excited because whether it's a division or your Bengals or the Bills, like the Bills didn't even make a pick yet, but nobody did anything like, man, you know what? They got a hell of a lot better. Like the Texans
In the
had
offseason either,
The
really.
Texans, I think, had a really good
Diggs,
offseason.
yeah.
Like Daniil Hunter, Diggs, really nice signings.
Yeah.
They didn't have a 1st round pick because of how they've drafted recently. But Buffalo hadn't made a pick yet. They helped maybe Kansas City find a weapon to unlock their offense even more. The Bengals just got a guy that you even admit, who knows. And
Long-term starter, maybe this year, maybe not.
who the hell did Baltimore get? They haven't picked yet, have they?
No, they took a corner.
Yeah,
They took the kid from
take
Clemson.
they took
All
no
right,
Wiggins.
So they take Wiggins. All right. Is that moving the needle? Joe Walt, going to be a really good tackle in this league. That's not going to be why the Chargers all of a sudden become an AFC West title team. The Broncos, Bo Nix.
No, I actually feel like the Chiefs separated
Bo
themselves.
Nix. Like, are you kidding me?
pick
And
is so
then
bad.
the Raiders draft Brock Bowers, who's, I think, going to be good. But Brock Bowers, Gardner Minshew's throwing the freaking football.
The
so
pick is
it
so
doesn't
weird,
matter.
too, because they have Michael Mayer, and I guess in that by them picking Bowers, they don't believe in Michael Mayer or
No, they're just going to be running the wing tee this year.
They're just
Pierce is too old school. Like the players love him. Wait, they're probably going to draft a running back tonight, guys. I mean, they're just old
In the
school.
second round, they're going to take Jonathan Brooks. Isn't he the first running back?
Yes,
yes.
It hadn't been one off the board yet.
The team will be really talented, but with no quarterback.
That's the thing too. If we haven't mentioned it, but if the Chiefs want a running back in like the third round of so far, I haven't even been a single running back off the board. You could maybe get the fourth best running back tomorrow or late tonight.
That might be the pick where they trade up for is if they take a tackle or a corner in the second round tonight, and then in the third you got a Trey Benson sitting there and he's sliding a little bit. Maybe you're like, you know what? He's a guy that fits, and we're willing to move up in some way, shape, or form.
Did you guys catch on Twitch? They're saying that Brock Bowers, his dad's reaction.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't catch that.
He looked not happy with
going to the Raiders.
There were Raiders fans that as soon as the pick was called, they were like, no. Why?
I'm so pissed. I didn't bet it. Someone had tweeted out a couple hours before the draft, and I thought Bowers had a chance to slide to the Colts.
That's where I thought he was going too.
And it was like Brock Bowers was 60-1 guys to go to the Raiders. Somebody I saw had a $100 bet, won $6,000 last night.
Someone won $10,000, $100 bet on the Falcons taking a quarterback.
Yeah,
they made that bet like months ago or whatever.
Yeah, that was a big money maker. But the Bowers one was one like you could have just made like that one wasn't even nuts but still paid out 60-1.
Can you imagine making that bet? By the way, the Falcons pick, they signed Kirk Cousins, like crap. Dang it, I lost the bet, and then they turn around and they pick Penix anyways, and you win.
This is why it's so. We do the
insane.
mock draft sounder and stuff during the show because look, there's a lot of picks that were seemingly logical, made a lot of sense, but you still can't predict stupid. And I'm saying that's what the Falcons. You can't predict stupid. There was no logical reason.
None.
Unless you were Michael Penix's uncle, that you should have thought he was getting drafted with the Falcons at 8. So you can be smart, like you can have a real logic reason why a team should draft this guy. There was no logical reason why you should have. If I would have come on the show yesterday before, guys, Penix going to the Falcons, you'd be like, what the are you talking about?
I would have called you a fucking idiot.
Yeah, right.
But you're a fucking idiot.
Understandably
There's
so.
no chance they're doing that.
So this shit's going to happen, I guess, yeah.
Can I ask you guys, okay, so I want you to go to the Twitch thing. This is only funny because someone in the Twitch just sent a photo from the Kansas City Royals account that said, "What's up, brother? We in Detroit." It's MJ Melendez standing next to Sketch.
I'm looking at
a person I was unfamiliar with a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Somebody also sent this to me in a group chat separate. A friend just now. I am not kidding. I went through the McDonald's drive-thru a week ago, and some kid in the McDonald's drive-thru said, he's like, "You look like an older Sketch." I was like, okay. He's like, "Do you know who that is?" And I just said, he said, "Do you know who that is?" And I said, "Yeah, man," because I didn't want to look uncool to the McDonald's employee. So I was like, "Sure do."
You do.
I went and looked up who Sketch was that day. I kind of look like that guy.
You do.
Yeah.
He's a streamer, really popular, and then all of a sudden it's cut on. It's like, "Hey, brother," what is it like? "Hey, brother."
Hey, brother.
Something Tuesday. Special team, special player, or special player, special teams, or I'm screwing it up. It's something like that.
Did they see he's revealing a pick? Is he giving a pick?
I think he's announcing a pick at some point today. Jamal Charles is doing the second, third round picks for the Chiefs or something.
Dude, I think I might look like Sketch. I don't want to say for sure. I could look like Sketches.
There is a resemblance.
If I had like a kid when I was a teenager. If you pulled up a photo of me as a teenager, that's not way off.
Sketch.
I had no idea I looked like this guy till like a week ago. I had to look him up. What's funny is like that photo, it was like a week ago in the drive-thru that kid was like, "You look like a," he said it like he was kind of, he's like, "You look kind of an older Sketch." I was like, "Oh yeah." And then, I mean, he like, I think maybe he could tell I didn't know that was at the time, but.
This streamer always was popular, but this I saw some other like radio station was going around the office and just going up to people and saying, "Hey, brother," and just recording people's reactions and seeing what they did, and most people had no freaking clue what they were doing. But yeah. Have you watched? I haven't watched. I guess he's a Texans fan and all that. So
that's the pick I think he was gonna announce. I couldn't remember.
He's been going viral. This is
Hmm.
from AJ on Twitch. He's been going viral for 2 months now, but crazy viral past 2 or 3 weeks.
What's up, guys?
That makes
That's
sense.
me? Maybe I should
Hey,
be.
brother.
Hey, brother. Should I be
Yes,
doing?
you should.
Should I be doing,
at least once.
Should I be
You
doing
should do
sketch
it.
impressions?
You should be doing that. Yes.
I could be his dad on like maybe I could get on a stream and I could pretend to be his dad. You know,
That could work.
since we look
He's
apparently kind of similar.
He's very popular.
I might as well capitalize
A
on
bunch of
his,
other people now are like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, Cody is Sketch."
Like
So
it's
with
like
this-
once you see it, you can't unsee it kind of thing.
If you're, by the way, if you're just joining us on Twitch or Facebook, YouTube again today, Royals baseball, they're in Detroit. The draft is in Detroit, so the Tigers have a really early game today at noon Vern's on deck show is just wrapped up, and then Royals Network pregame's going on, and then the game at noon, and so we were off the air only an hour, so we decided to hang out for an extra hour here on YouTube since, look, there's a ton to talk about, and it's a little bit different. And yeah, someone says it's Cody and Gold after dark. Kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
Technically.
Someone said we should have had drinks. It's 11 o'clock on a Friday. It's a little early.
Somebody did suggest, someone did suggest that last night. They said, what are you guys going to do for Club 610? I was like, we only have a 1 hour show. I'd have to drink at 10 a.m. I still got to have a whole day after this. Hey, by the way, that same person who you were being critical of saying they didn't want to take a picture with you.
Well, I wouldn't be critical. That guy was just an ass.
Did want his girlfriend. She is 31 years old and has some single girlfriends. And he said, I wouldn't bring over somebody who wasn't his type. What kind of women is he into? I think at the next event he would like to see.
So he's looking out for you.
Possible suitors.
He's looking out for you.
He's drunk then?
He had to have been drunk.
And I think for whatever reason, maybe, we're a different, you and I are a different flavor from a radio perspective, right?
You think?
That's why we work as a show. But I think sometimes people are like, I think there's a lot of people who are a big fan of you that are like, God damn it, if Cody would just be off
and vice versa. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how it works.
I think that's probably the vibe. That guy's like, Alex is just holding you down. Now, I will say, that guy did accuse me of poisoning Nick with Chipino and said that I stole the show funds. You did. And accused me of a lot of
This
stuff.
is all true. I mean, these are all true things. No, but that's how any show works. Yeah, you're always going to have some people that, hate an on-air host versus another host. I mean, the whole room last night, there's some people that their favorite host was C-Dot, somebody else doesn't like what, that's how that shit works.
Yeah. There was one lady,
someone said, go ahead.
She was an older lady, and she said, can I give you a hug for having to deal with that snake?
Was I the snake? Problem?
Huh?
I'm the snake in this scenario?
No.
No. The actual snake is a part of it.
The actual snake.
It was a very nice lady, Susie. She works how about that? So
she listens to us every day.
She works at Hy-Vee. She delivers floral department. She delivers flowers. She listens in her car. She loves listening to the station. She came up, super nice lady. She came up and hugged Drew.
Yeah, she came and said, "Can I give you a hug because you don't have you never deserve to have to deal with that damn snake."
Yeah. Someone says somebody at the landing last night. This is from AJ. Dude at the table next to me last night was kissing on both girls with him. Good for you.
Well,
good for you, sir.
What?
Yeah,
is that
that's on Twitch.
That's the accusation?
Yeah, someone else says it looks like we've decided to take the building hostage and we're holed up in a back office.
Well, that is pretty much
we are in a random studio. We're never in here.
If you want to peel behind the curtain for all this video
I don't mind this studio, I'll be honest. It actually don't mind it at all.
It's for really
video,
nice studio.
It actually could work pretty well. I don't mind it at all.
The signal's not as good. That's why we struggled to
The lighting's better. The lighting looks as good
as ever.
The
lighting's definitely better for you. I guess I should move one of these
The lighting
things.
is great. I actually don't mind this. I feel like we have this a little more, more flexibility versus the way the table's set up. I like it in here.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's a little more room.
Is it more room or is it just shaped different?
I think there's more.
The desk is shaped different to point. That's what I like about it.
There's less room, but it fits more for the lighting, the cameras. There's TVs there that you guys could see if you were sitting. Conceivably, if I was on the board.
Look at the quality of those televisions. What are those 27-inch Westinghouse? We have the worst television setup in the entire world.
Are those the same size that we have in the other
I didn't even know they made TVs.
No, they do, but the TV in our normal studio, one of them doesn't work.
Are those the same size, or are they a little bit bigger than those?
That's about the same size.
Yeah, and you guys are way further away from.
Yeah, it's about the same.
If breaking news comes by, you're not even going to be able to see it, on the ticker.
No, probably not. But that's such, sometimes we got to move around. We got to alter things a little bit. We make do with the pieces available of us. Yeah. Someone said that they'd like Club 610 to be unfiltered every week.
Can't do it.
There's some.
If we're on the radio, FCC, man.
Yeah, there's just some rules against that,
So can we just do the show in here from now on? I'd be open to it. I would. I don't think we can make that happen.
They come over here and they
they do podcasts.
This is where they do the paid programming people record, or sometimes the people who are recording commercial spots who come in.
I wonder if
they've
Bink
already
and
kind of
Chris
staked
record here
claim
too.
to this
What's
location.
that? I don't know if Bink and Chris might record over here too.
They probably
should. Bink was in heaven last night. I mean, you want to talk about? I was happy for our guy Bink. Bink obviously and Chris doing a great job. The Character Concerns podcast, and they were live last night till midnight or whatever. And that was Bink was in heaven. That was you want to talk about that was his place, man.
Yes, I couldn't believe the guy last night. He told everybody that he saw that Binkley didn't look the way he thought, and I was like, "What do you mean?" Like of all the people, like
Well,
I get
we've
it
heard that
sometimes.
before. People don't think your voice matches.
But not Binkley. Binkley looks exactly what you would think. Like, think about everything Binkley is into and tell me that he doesn't look like he runs offensive line drills at Blue Springs. Like, he looks like a high school football coach. He looks like Jay Binkley. That's the most like identical look to person you are ever.
Hang on, has Bink told you guys that he's dating somebody?
What?
Because it came across.
He gets very shy.
No,
he's very
he
shy
does get
about
very
it.
shy about his
You
dating
guys
life.
had left, and it was last week, and I think Parks was
He's
there.
in on
and I was
Monday.
there.
Can we ask him about this? He's filling in for Cody on Monday with us.
I did say I would give him the respect of saying something about it, but
I'm gonna bring.
he
it
didn't
up
say
on
nothing
Monday.
about it yesterday, and he said she was a former cheerleader, I think, for the Chiefs.
All right, so here, for those of you listening, here's how we can do this on Monday. I'm not just going to out of the blue bring it up. Somebody just text in at some point, and I'll say, I'm just reading a text. Someone that texts, I want to know if you're seeing anybody right now. I'll play dumb.
Are you?
And then we'll just go from there.
is.
That's how this will be done, guys.
He said
Text
he's been
line,
seeing
please
her
help
for a
us out
few weeks
Monday.
now, or a month or two.
By the way, I don't know if you like. I don't know if this comes. Binkley doesn't have any trouble getting dates.
No.
Binkley.
He does not.
Binkley
No.
gets.
No.
Binkley has
Some game.
Binkley does have game. It doesn't like sometimes you're like, wait, are we sure? Binkley absolutely has game because
Yes.
he has no trouble getting a date. Every time they're like, fell apart with my lady friend. Like 36 hours later, he's been on 3 dates.
Twitch is right.
He's already
It's
kinda settled into
confidence is
one.
what it is. Ultimate confidence.
Bink lets it fly. Yeah.
He's like, who gives a shit, basically. Ultimate confidence. He's been divorced a couple times. He's like, what do I got to lose? Hey, screw it.
Yeah,
Bink will love this conversation, yes. I'm sure he's thrilled that
Look, we're not talking about the actual girl he's dating. I haven't met her.
Yeah, I
I've
think
met
it's
some of
a
his
confidence
previous
thing.
girlfriends.
It's definitely a confidence thing. There's a lot of people who are asking us to talk about your Bengals. They just want us, because we've never been able to say it on air, they want us to read a text from that just simply
Bring it
says,
on.
fuck Joe Burrow.
Oh, man. Thoughts?
Injury prone?
Keep on hating. It's so funny. People, it's funny when people say that
smug.
they hate him.
So if he's not your quarterback,
I get it.
he's
I get it.
very dislikable.
The Cartier glasses,
The arrogance, just a smug, cocky son of a bitch. I mean, that's what he is.
The
That's
nice
what he
suits.
is. That's fine. I mean, yeah, if he was a quarterback here, we'd love him. I get
Yeah,
it.
I wouldn't care. He'd be your guy, right?
You know, I'll say this. I want them to win the Super Bowl this year so badly because it's in New Orleans, and the amount of shit that we'd be able to finally, because this is the thing. As much as I can talk about the 3-1 thing, all you have to do, all you have to do is say, well, they have a Super Bowl and the Bengals don't, and immediately the conversation's over. There's nothing.
you don't have much of a defense
There's
for that.
absolutely nothing that I can say that is a comeback to that. If they win one, it's good enough. That's the thing, is some people want 2 or 3 or 4, and it'd be great. If the Bengals win one Super Bowl with Joe Burrow, I'm the happiest person on the face of the planet, and they could never win again.
We used to have that take here when they just one time get one Super Bowl ring, and now we're in a dynasty, and so we're spoiled. We're greedy.
Yeah. I also think that Joe Burrow's really good, and like a lot of really good quarterbacks, he'll probably play in maybe 2 Super Bowls.
Are you worried he's going to be Dan Marino? Great quarterback, Hall of Famer.
Who never won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, are you a little concerned? Maybe not yet. I'll give you. But are you like in 2 more years?
If we get
in 2 more years,
if we get to the point where he's 30. And he's only been to 1 still, I'll be a little bit concerned.
Okay, so 30 is the point. Where if he's 30, he's been to 1, he doesn't have a...
It also depends if other young quarterbacks threaten a little bit, right? You actually need Stroud or... not
maybe
Levis,
Caleb Williams, who knows?
Maybe but you need other AFC guys to to make it a problem. Otherwise, Burrow will probably play in a lot of important games.
I would be extremely happy if the Lions won a Super Bowl, but like had they won it last year, I would have been very salty, because it's like, damn, you have it.
Misery loves company.
Yeah.
Okay.
They also didn't realize you're not from Cincinnati directly, because someone said, also, fuck Skyline Chili. Just like,
I have never had Skyline chili in my life. It does look gross.
It just looks disgusting.
It doesn't look appealing. I'm from Indianapolis, so there's nothing that you can...
What's their food?
I didn't even know this, actually, but it is the chicken, or it's like the pork tenderloin.
Ooh, I do like a good pork tenderloin sandwich.
I didn't even know this. Like, I like pork tenderloin. I didn't know it was a Indy thing.
That's an Indy thing. All I ever hear about Indy is every damn media member that goes for the combine is like, St. Elmo's, shrimp cocktail,
most expensive steakhouse that you...
And it's across, it's every media member goes there. Andy Reid, like all the teams go, like it's just
the reason why it's because
it's
super private. It is smack dab in the middle of downtown where all the hotels are at. I think that it's in a hotel.
Oh,
you theoretically could stay there and nobody could know that you're there.
Just like Mahomes and Kelsey's new restaurant. If I fail in radio, I'm just gonna go work there. I bet the money would be good.
Prime 1587 or 15
Yeah.
is it? Yeah, 1587 Prime or
1587.
Prime 1587. I don't know which.
I don't remember.
It's
Yeah.
Prime something or it's 1587 Prime. I don't know.
Would you do whatever job it was to work in that restaurant, or would you have to? It's like,
Dude,
look,
I'd be like
I'm
the
not
guy
going to
from the
do this.
bear. I'd polish forks for a while if that's what it took.
Okay.
Like, the money.
I was wondering
You
your,
know how
your,
hard
your
it's going to be to
desperation
get
level.
in that restaurant the first like 6 months or year.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be so hard to get in. You know, like
Look, it just needs to be
eventually I
like-
want to eat there just because like it's their restaurant. But
Does it
it's
open
gonna
this
take
year? Or does
next
it-
year
No, next
in the
year.
Lowe's
Okay.
Hotel? I think March of 2025.
When do
or
they
something.
start taking reservations? Do you
Well, you're
think?
not getting on
Well,
opening
well,
night. I can
well,
promise you that.
Right.
Opening night.
It's going to be Chiefs exclusive probably opening
Yeah.
night.
It's
One of
gonna
the
take
worst
months.
restaurants I've ever been to in my life was Brett's.
Never made
That
it there.
restaurant stunk.
Did that last more than 3
Stunk!
years? Was it like 3 years and done?
I don't know, man. I went there when I was like in my early 20s, and I was with my wife. We were very in a relationship, and we went to like go have dinner for an anniversary. And when you're in your early 20s in Kansas City and you're getting a restaurant, you go to the Plaza.
Yeah.
Right? You go down there for dinner. And Brett's was probably relatively new at that time. And I'd had an Oscar De La Renta jacket I had bought for a wedding. Dead serious. And I fucking wore a jacket to dinner to feel nice, and the restaurant sucked. It sucked.
The city's
It
grown so
sucked.
much now. Like I could see the Mahomes restaurant having way more success. You know, it's a steakhouse as well, but it's in the Lowe's Hotel. Obviously, it's the nice. You know, it's the only 5-star hotel in the
it's a
city,
great hotel.
and you would think that the city's grown enough where it should be able to be more successful than what.
Mahomes and Kelsey, I don't think would let. Not that they're running it, but I think
Yeah, they
something
partner with the guy
attached
that's
to
got
their
some-
name wouldn't allow it to be unsuccessful.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a restaurant business is tough. It's not a guarantee, but like I think it has a great chance of doing well. It's at a hotel that fits.
Going
too.
back to the Bengals thing, I am so excited for the week of, because I hope that, because we didn't get the full week one because it was like during Christmas time and New Year's and all that stuff, but
Burrow's
also Burrow was hurt, so the bet wasn't even like a real bet. It
Yeah.
was I'm looking for that in a way. Opening night would be nice because there's no conflicts with our schedule.
I really
It's
think
perfect
there's a chance
starters.
it's that, not the Texans.
Whatever happens, we can be shamed either way.
Who else could
And
it be? I mean, aren't
I
they
think
the only
it's
two teams that can
Cincy
be
or
able
the
to send you a
Texans.
division game?
It's Houston or Cincy, and Houston's makes a ton of sense. I just wonder if the networks want to save Chiefs, Stroud, Mahomes for late in the year because they have a feeling that's going to be for the number 1 seed versus why waste it week 1? Do the Cincinnati one. There's more questions about Cincinnati, and so do you
When
just
does
have
the
Joe
schedule come out
Burrow?
in 2 weeks? In May,
Remember
normally.
they
is what
leaked the
the opening day game.
opening night, and the international stuff has already started to come out. Those are early, and then the full schedule is in mid-May or something.
I'm
like
really
that. Was it
looking
May
forward to that.
7th, May 11th?
Something like that. So here, yeah, in a couple weeks. I think that I would love the game to be in October because it's like pre-trade deadline where
Why does that matter?
you've played a few weeks. The pre-trade deadline.
Well, you want to
doesn't
tune
matter.
up before you play the Chiefs?
I
play
want-
week 1. Let's
I
go.
want-
Well, he watched the way they played
Hang
for the first month last year. He's like, I don't want them there.
I want
They
Xavier-
played so
hey,
bad for a month last
I
year.
want Xavier Worthy at his best. All right, and I want Joe
Xavier
Burrow,
Worthy at his best.
and I want the
Well,
Bengals.
that's definitely after week 1, in fairness.
I need the Bengals to get some freaking reps because yes, for to that point, Cody, they have gotten off to atrocious starts every single year with Joe Burrow, and it's very frustrating because 2 years they've made it work. Last year they did not because he got hurt. But if they could start out 2-1 once, like just have a winning record through 3 weeks, and I'd be happy.
By the way, what's your way too early yardage prediction? For
Oh, shit.
Xavier Worthy? Come on. Really early
Well, I
yardage
looked up odds
prediction.
on Rookie of the Year. He's 13-1.
I'm gonna say 750 yards.
I mean,
plus.
isn't Marvin Harrison Jr. just going to win Rookie of the Year? Or,
No, Caleb Williams.
Or Caleb Williams?
It's got to be Caleb Williams.
So yeah, he's 13-1.
I think I'll go 750.
That's way too high. I'll go.
You think
I'll go
it's way
5
too
and a
high?
quarter.
I was gonna say 585 and 3 touchdowns or something. Remember, he's gonna be as great as he could be one day. He's the deep threat. Hollywood Brown is still gonna get the majority of the deep shots down
Yes,
the field.
yeah.
Now, the caveat here is: does Rice get 6 games, and then that's just his opportunity?
That's a whole other thing in the
yeah.
yardage.
I'm gonna go 750 because
Right
of that,
now,
I
I'll
think
say
partially.
the day
Same thing with
after
the Rice thing right now.
the
So maybe
day after he
640.
got drafted, I'll stick at 585, and then by the time we get to camp, I'm sure I'll bump it up to 700.
Yeah,
You know
this
how
is your
goes.
too
what do you think
early
his,
prediction.
What do you think his over under would be set at? Then is it going to be
5 something.
5?
Yeah, normally that's the case.
I
525
would hammer
over-under.
the over on it because of
I
the.
think like
the
fans
receiver
always are going to
unknowns
do
and-
that, right? Like that's just nobody likes betting unders.
If you think about it too,
boring. Especially if I'm going to
have
have to sit on the bet for 18 weeks.
Right, right.
I'd rather just look for the overs I like.
Yeah.
Versus
People on
the
Twitch are
unders I
saying 750 yards as well. They said.
let's say he gives you 8 games. Let's say he doesn't play much the first 8 weeks of the season. What would he have to average to in order to get to 750 for 8 weeks, he'd have to average 93 yards a game.
That's not happening. That's not.
I mean, that actually is.
That's not happening.
It makes me a little bit less
That's only
confident.
giving him 8 games. We know he's going to play in more, but I hear you.
Just the fact of him being ready for consistent
the
reps.
stuff early, the first month of the season might be more gadgety, and once a game they take a deep shot. Then later on the year, did they develop the route running more?
It's maybe, but like, so like I'm not high on Felix Anudike-Uzama, but last year when Charles Omenihu was suspended, he was actually playing. Yeah. Like they put him on the field and he got snaps.
Oh, I think he's playing week 1.
Like a borderline starter. I'm just starting to wonder if Rashee Rice gets 4 games, will they just treat Xavier Worthy like a borderline starter during that time, where he's getting a lot of regular routes, more than you would think.
I think it depends on the time. When's the suspension? Is Rice suspended the first 6 games, or is he suspended the middle 6? You know what I mean? We don't know the answer.
He's definitely
the first 4. What do you
but I think he would. He's going to get snaps right away. I mean, the question will be, are we frustrated after week 1? Do we find out that him and Sky Moore got anywhere near the same amount of snaps? God, I hope not.
I do think that I know that Reese Emmett is going to get some reps at special teams. I think Xavier Worthy. I think Andy Reid wants Xavier Worthy to be punt returner 1 from day 1. Like he is
I think
guy.
he will be.
He's going to return kicks. He's going to return punts.
Fumbling or something, which he didn't in college, which is a nice thing. Like we're not talking about a guy like heck. Even Rashee Rice, the knock on him, different type of receiver. He had a lot of drops in college. The knock on Worthy is just, hey, he's skinny as hell. Can he bulk up enough?
It's just so hard because Devontae Smith and Tank Dell. Recently, I've seen a lot of skinny. It works. The era of skinny wide receivers, man. They're thriving.
Yeah. Now look, he's not 5'9", $160. He's 5'11", and eventually he's going to be $180. You can make that work, and he's not going to be a number 1 wide receiver, so you're not asking him to get the most snaps on the team.
If you take a guy in the first round, you eventually still hope that the potential for Worthy is 1,400 yards, right? It doesn't have to be that, but you hope that that's the ceiling still, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if you tell me in 2 years
he's 1,000 yards
Rashee Rice has 1,100 yard receiver and he's an 1,100 yard receiver, you're good.
Well, he's a 950.
You're good.
I pointed this out. Like people are always like 900. You're selling him short. 2 teams, 2 in the entire NFL last year had 3 wide receivers with more than 900 yards. Okay, it's just not that common. Yeah. If you're setting a bar of 900 yards, it is not that many teams who do it. It was like the Lions and the Vikings. I mean, maybe it was 3 teams, but it's below 3 or less, and it's just not that many. So you don't have to think about it all the time or overthink it or those things. The same thing applies. If Rashee Rice gets you 950 yards and Travis Kelce gets you 1,100, Hollywood Brown can get you 750, and it's mostly successful. And then Xavier Worthy can get you 550, and it's really that's a lot of yardage between those 4 guys. Everybody doesn't need to have 1,000 yards.
Which is why them bulking up the wide receiver room along with having Kelce helps spread the ball. Not spread the ball around necessarily, but there's reliable options at 1, 2, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, running back. You've got more than just 2 guys that you feel comfortable going to.
All right, before we wrap it up, what do you want to have happen the rest of the weekend for the Chiefs, and what do you think? Because those are 2 different things. I still
want tackle, defensive line, corner, another weapon, but that can be later.
I want at some point them to draft a guard because I think that could be the Trey Smith replacement.
I would take tackle guard.
So I would say guard. It's weird. I'm not. If the BYU kid at tackle somehow really slides, then I'm all in because I thought I wanted him at 32. I don't know if he'll be there. So I would want them, I think, to go guard, another wide receiver this weekend, and a corner. That's kind of where I'm. I don't think they need to draft a defensive lineman this weekend, although a lot of people think they will.
I think that they'll take offensive line. I think they'll take tackle or guard in the second round for sure. And then the third round spot will be interesting if they like a wide receiver enough maybe to trade up and get one, or they like a running back or a corner where they feel they can utilize the one of the fourths in the future third next year to get up there. I think that if they do trade up into the third round, I think it's going to be, though, for a wide receiver or a running back. I think that's the spot where they go.
Why not? I mean, another wide receiver would be great.
You tell me at the end of the second round, all of a sudden, just like they took Keon Coleman, I'd be like, this is fun. Screw it.
It's fun for this next year, but also then that means at camp we would actually be talking about, they're going to really have a chance to cut Kadarius Toney and cut whatever and maybe trade. You know what I mean? Like it opens you up for this year, but also the following year, you still only have, as of right this second, Rashee Rice, Sky Moore, and Xavier Worthy under contract.
God, if they had Rashee Rice, Hollywood, Xavier Worthy, and Keon Coleman as your wide receiver core, that's insane.
I think there's fans all over the league were like, "Come on, Bills, why?"
Well, that was
why did you do that?
Even to me, if the Chiefs would have gotten Xavier Worthy, fine. But the fact that the Bills allowed the Chiefs to come up, you could have traded with anybody else You didn't have to give them the pass.
No, Jordan Schultz from Bleacher Report, I think he's still at Bleacher Report. He had that tweet last night. He said he got a text from an AFC general manager right after the Worthy pick and said, "Fuck me." That was that was the text from an AFC GM.
Which GM do you think it was?
I think it's the Ravens or Cincinnati's GM.
Duke Tobin.
Somebody that's a contender, right? Like I don't think the Jags GM was like. I think it's somebody that's been beat up by the Chiefs in the playoffs recently.
I wonder if it could have been like maybe the Chargers were like, dude, they just keep getting better. It could have been somebody, not that they feel threatened, but God, they get another wide receiver. You know, we have to deal with this guy twice. I don't know. I feel like contender.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks to those couple people subscribed on Twitch, so we always appreciate that as well. We'll be back at it, guys, Monday, full show. Cody will be back on Tuesday. Bink will be with us. We'll somehow bring up his dating life as well on Monday's show. We'll figure it out. Hope everybody has a good weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.